So summer 2025 was the strongest buyer's market in a decade, according to a Realtor.com article. We're going to dive into that. Also go over some of the tax implications that people don't seem to realize are occurring with these new construction homes. We've gone over that before, but I want to touch base on it again. And a little time on some more sales gimmicks that I think are quite frankly dishonest, just embarrassing, but you guys let me know what you think. So to kick it off, summer 2025, strongest buyer's market on record, they say, but really their records only go back to 2016, so it's a decade. There were an estimated 500,000 more sellers on the market this summer than there were buyers in August. So obviously, buyers had negotiating power. This is nationwide, not just Southwest Florida. That's kind of been the status quo here for quite some time. Things are shifting a little in the fall season that I generally don't expect to see. So we'll cover that as well. I'm seeing, as you guys know, a lot of buyers coming out of the woodwork right now. Just an unseasonably high amount of pending sales. If you guys took a look at my stats video, you may know that already, but it's interesting to start seeing all this stuff spread out from just Southwest Florida. This is nationwide news now where basically sellers have anxiety, they say, about selling, which buyers had a lot of anxiety about buying for many years because all the nonsense that was going on there. And again, it ties it back into the delisting. We lost about 50,000 sellers since May just to delisting their properties because they couldn't get what they want. They don't like the market conditions that are out there right now. But I mean, we're talking only 10% of the number that outweigh buyers. So that's not enough, guys. That's not enough to make a big inventory dent. Of course, Florida and Texas are the strongest buyers markets. We know that from this channel already. Only 5 remaining sellers markets left in the country, according to this. Left in the country. That's interesting. All on the East Coast. And just a quick intermission, guys. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button on this video. Maybe subscribe to the channel. It helps me out immensely, and we'll get back to it. Now, like I've mentioned that I'm seeing on the ground here and in the numbers, they are also reporting that new home sales soared 20% in August to a 3-year high. That's new construction, guys. And I'll tell you, pending sales around Southwest Florida for all home types are up considerably in a lot of places. I mean, Charlotte County, where I am today, is up almost 25% from the previous year. That's a massive jump in pending home sales. And I've kind of been telling you guys, I've been seeing this. It's not seasonally the time when I expect this to happen, but that's what's going on right now. So since new home sales are up to that degree nationwide, and we know why, because it's basically the same price to buy a new house, if not cheaper in a lot of areas, as it is a resale right now. I wanted to touch on something a commenter mentioned, and that's the tax implications of new construction. So what has happened in the past, it's not as frequent as it used to be, is people, when they purchase new construction, the escrow accounts are based off, sometimes, I find lenders have gotten a lot better about this, but sometimes they were based off the land taxes. So when your home reassessed the following year for the actual market value of the structure, you could see your escrow account go up $500 a month, if not more. Some people really got caught with their pants down with this. So like I've mentioned, if you're buying, you're going to, most of the time now, they're going to estimate what your taxes are going to be when the assessment comes in. But that's not always correct either. So it behooves you to do as much research as you can on your own before pulling the trigger on that, because it can really, you know, if your debt to income ratio is close to the threshold and all of a sudden you go up $500 a month, I mean, it could submarine you completely. It could ruin your life. And it has for some people, unfortunately. So make sure that you double check these numbers, because a lot of the reps are not mortgage lenders. I'm not a mortgage lender, guys. Don't even trust any numbers I give you. Do your own research. Make sure you know at the end of the day what the total cost is going to be and what it's likely to go to. You can call your county. You can call, actually, a lot of the websites have property tax estimators now. So you can go in there and do that, but never rely 100% on what you're shown on that paper for your estimate, because it's most likely going to change. So new construction is elevated in the rest of the country. What's going on here in Southwest Florida? kind of a mixed bag. Kind of depends community to community, where it's located, what kind of incentives they're offering, what kind of amenities they have. We have some down here in Punta Gorda that now, on top of dropping prices, offering incentives, they're also just flat out telling agents, hey, we're going to give you a massive commission if you can sell this house. So, they do that to keep the comps at a certain level, try to move some stuff now, and then maybe later they pull those incentives back. But some of the numbers are absolutely massive. What they are offering agents to sell these homes, I'm sure a lot of the buyers would probably just prefer they lower the price. But even to see that, to see lowered prices, to see big incentives and giant agent commissions to have to move some homes around this area, that tells me things are not flying off the shelves, obviously. And again, I said every community is different. But we're starting to see the new pools. Hey, free pool come back. I saw one the other day, 12 months of your HOA paid. Again, those are always dangerous. I feel like, I'd rather do the pool because that's a one-time cost. I don't want to keep my overhead down for 12 months and get my HOA paid and then it smacks me in the face, which kind of ties into the same thing as like your escrow. Or if you do a rate buy down, a temporary rate buy down, you're going to run into the same problem. So it seems like a lot of the incentives are always to just push off the large expenses until after you're in the house for a while, which is very, very dangerous. If you ask me, I'm not a big fan of that at all. So, and the kicker with these commissions, guys, is, as you know, there is a buyer broker agreement that we now use in the industry that specifies what our commission is. So if I agree to a 3% commission, that's really all I can take from either side combined, whether I get that from the buyer or the seller. Obviously, I try to negotiate it with the seller, but I can't go over that. So when they offer these 6% commissions, you have to disclose that, or you have to go back and ask your buyer for permission to take that extra 3% from the seller as well, which I think is a hard conversation to have. And I did recently have this happen to me. I got a $2,000 bonus for selling a house I sold in Beach Walk. And I didn't know. So at the end of the day, somebody said something to me about it. I was like, oh, I don't got a bonus. We had to go back to the buyer and ask the buyer if that was okay. And I did. And I told them, hey, if you're not cool with that, I totally understand. But they agreed to it. We had to sign off on it. And they were very, very generous about it, which was nice. But this kind of stuff has to be disclosed. Pause it right there, guys, because I know what you're thinking. And no, this did not change the purchase price for the buyer. It did not change any of the funds they had to bring to closing. It was simply something the builder was providing to me as a bonus. And I felt it needed to be disclosed and signed off on by all parties. So it's not so easy. When you see, oh God, they're going to pay an agent 6%. Well, what does your compensation agreement allow them to take? That's where it gets kind of hairy, guys. Now, anybody who's watched this channel for any length of time knows I am not the biggest fan of salespeople, and I am one. But I don't like hard sells. I don't like sleazy tactics. I don't like disingenuous information. That's kind of my theme is here's the information, you do with it what you will, but I'm not going to lie to you about it. Or spin things a certain way. I've told you guys, I can't talk somebody into buying a house. And quite frankly, if you don't want to buy a house, that's great. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Or you want to blow a deal up, you don't want to finish the deal, fine, let's go. If we have the contractual ways to do that, 100%, I'm not going to ask any questions. It's your prerogative. So when I see kind of deceptive or quite frankly, what I think stupid, I would call stupid marketing, I just like to call it out. Take a look at this. So this is one such post I'm talking about, guys. Let me see who can figure out why this is upsetting me. So it states, thinking about selling your home in Venice? Around this time last year, Google measured Venice, Florida searches beginning September 29th and climaxing in early October. Sure, this was a short-lived spike of interest, but a very good insight as to when people are searching the area. This is the FOMO. Here comes the FOMO. Now, this happens to be the spike that this agent is referencing. And you can see for some reason it was only that time. So everyone found a huge amount of interest in Venice, Florida for buying homes, he's saying, around this time for some reason. With interest rates and home prices trickling down, it's looking like we will have a hotter real estate market this season and throughout 2026. So this is basically being presented that around this time of year, everyone wants to come to Venice, Florida and buy. But did anything else happen around this time of year? Did anything else happen this time of year, last year, between that September and October time frame he mentioned that might have caused a spike in the searches for Venice, Florida, other than people wanting to buy real estate? I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you think? I don't know, man. You think it was the back-to-back hurricanes? One that pretty much hit Venice and the other one that came close? Come on! So, guys, that's the kind of stuff that just sends me off the deep end. Like, you know, I get accused on this channel by people in this industry of hurting this area or hurting the industry. And that's not at all what my intent is. I'm just here to bring facts. I can't make the market. I can't make what other agents do. But I would like to highlight and have some accountability. I mean, that's, you know, that's a hard ask these days. Accountability is a big ask from anyone, it seems. But in this industry, that's really what I would like to see. You know, you can't just go out here and try to create these FOMO ad campaigns because, listen, if you don't know you're lying, clearly you were not intelligent enough to realize why that search spiked. And maybe, just maybe, it might be a little risky to have you representing somebody. Because if you can't see why that happened, so, you know, people say don't attribute malice to stupidity. I'm not so sure I subscribe to that all the time. You can only be so ignorant. You can only be so oblivious. So things like that, I think by highlighting things like that, it does help the industry and it helps people who want to work with people in the industry. So no, I don't think I'm hurting the town. I didn't make the market. No, I don't think I'm hurting the industry. I didn't tell these people to do this stupid shit. Now, guys, I've made my frustrations with Punta Gorda known. And just some of the decisions I don't understand. I don't get why the response to the hurricane has been so slow here. We're a year later. Parks aren't open. I just tried to walk down the Riverwalk. It's shut still. Still, every town I go to up and down the Southwest coast, open. Beaches open. We finally got Inglewood back open. Stump Pass is finally open. A year. Why? Why the slow response time? You know? When they announced Sunseeker back almost a decade ago, it's like, what are you guys doing? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This is never going to work here. And boom, there it is. What else was approved? We're going to have a water park coming to Charlotte County. What a joke. Never happened. Oh, we're going to do all kinds of apartments at the mall. Yeah, right. What was that? 2 years ago? Nothing. No word on that. This section of Punta Gorda, we had many people want to come here and develop, and they blocked it. They blocked it. And then they want to know, well, it's Ben Grieco causing our housing declines. Has nothing to do with any of this, right, guys? All right, friends, that's going to wrap it up for me today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.